Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. I ain't jiving. The good news, the bad news, and the other shit.
That's what you wait for.
Yeah. No stems, no seeds that you don't need. Acapulco Gold is some badass weed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's that kind of day, y'all.
Miko, you're the only person who likes that. Ain't nobody likes that one but you.
F them.
That confirms her wonderful taste.
Sure.
I'm telling you guys, people get away from the simple shit. Like,
no, they say when you
day,
do that, they say you're weird. F you.
You're supposed to be weird. I spent some time the other day making faces.
Everybody.
How many of you have practiced making faces lately?
Oh yeah.
See, there you go.
I did
the
that.
value.
Yeah.
And they
The
said
value.
vacuum look.
Yeah.
You're all day.
Take a look at my
I like those pictures.
MarioHemsley.tv, my blog. I just use my blog, you guys, just to tag stuff. So this
In
is
Colorado.
stuff. Look at
Yeah,
this.
they blowing it up.
Look at
Mario.
this. Look at I want you guys to see because it happened last night and it's really going on today. Because last night, at midnight things hit, there was a big party. But all through the day today is really when the retailers are hitting because they've been gearing up. In fact, the reports that were coming out of Colorado were that they were having trouble getting enough inventory
Yes.
for what they were expecting. Yes, they're expecting it to be so crazy. So let's go take a look. Let's take a look here at one of the videos that I think will tell the story.
California,
It's a big day for Tim Cullen.
I would liken it to graduation.
Trying to profit
It's
on a
just
different
been
way.
a tremendous amount of work to get to this point.
He's joining a handful of business owners receiving Denver's first licenses to sell marijuana for recreational use starting January 1st.
That's information that needs to go to every customer that comes in and buys any retail marijuana. Right. All right.
Thank you, Jenny.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you better have a nice
Awesome.
new year.
Our
At
community
Cullen's medical
service.
marijuana store, employees scramble to get ready. Pot retailers must navigate so many regulations, only 14 of about 250 medical marijuana businesses in Denver have received one of these, a license to sell to anyone over 21. There are multiple inspections, packaging requirements, and in some cases, new construction.
We're building an absolutely impressive showcase for the world to see that this is an industry. This is not an underground business.
At Medicine Man, all the pot sold is grown on site.
Customers don't want it really leafy. They like it nice, tight, and dense.
It's hiring 25 new employees
No shake, just
Get some of
buzz.
this and smoking in small quantities and get as high as smoking a blunt.
and installing new equipment.
We have to tag all these plants with an RFID tag, radio frequency identification, and so it's another inventory control that we have to implement here. This is a light, tight, airtight container, and
Wow.
this is our San Fernando Valley OG Kush, and the smell will hit
This
you
out
probably
here?
from there.
Sour milk smell to it? Is that, am I wrong?
No, some people like stuff that are really stinky.
Each of these containers holds about $7,500 worth of marijuana, so it's no wonder Medicine Man has an armed former Army Ranger guarding the front door.
I think next year we're going to have about between 2 and 2.5 times more business than we do this year.
Weed Maps, a Yelp-like service for
I got that
marijuana
app.
retailers, predicts prices will spike.
Demand is going to be very high on day one. With a potential shortage of supply, prices will go up.
Lines are expected outside pot stores January 1st.
We're going to have cookies and coffee set out.
Was cookies going to be laced with anything?
Absolutely not. No. My
That's
parents
illegal.
volunteered to come down and hand out cookies and coffee.
No one's expecting a marijuana Mardi Gras.
Where it's still illegal to drive impaired, to take the product out of state, to resell it to anybody, to give it to someone under 21, or to consume it publicly.
Wow, he
The
worked
city
that out.
says it's prepared.
We haven't seen a negative impact from 10 years of medical marijuana, and we don't expect to see that with retail marijuana.
Statewide, about $300 million worth of medical marijuana was sold in 2013. The industry expects sales to more than double next year.
Damn.
Casey Wyant, CNN, Denver.
Hey, you guys. Now remember, you got to be part of the problem, and that's what I wanted to get some of the warnings out today, is that one of the controversies that's already being exposed, and which is really being discussed a lot in the community out there, the neo-urban community, is the fact that you could be arrested for driving, and what is being now used as the level of marijuana in your system, for which they will arrest you as a DUI, is so low that damn near any marijuana smoker tested will be over the limit.
So that's how they get you.
That's,
you know what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying? That's why I'm telling everybody. Exactly. So people are, believe me, the pot smoking and community is out there on this about what actually represents, because unlike alcohol, you don't have enough studies to demonstrate more clearly what are the lines under which people cannot operate a vehicle. And so this is part of the upcoming issue, you guys. I just wanted to make sure you knew.
Can I say something, Mario?
Sure, my brother.
Look, man, I didn't have my own study where I could tell you I've been high and driving. You know what I'm saying? I've known people that have done that, and I don't see. I haven't witnessed any traffic. And then on top of that, I was reading in the paper, and they're gonna start mouth swabbing people at DUI checkpoints for your THC levels. You know, out here.
Well, see, and there's a whole issue with that, because THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, is fat stored. So it stays in your system a long time. It gets into the fat cells and it stays there. So you have it in your system. So yeah, this is exactly the issue. Now let me tell you something. Studies have proven clearly that operating your cell phone puts you at an operation level that's like someone who's legally drunk.
True.
So in terms of danger, you have a bunch of things now.
Right.
And if you're not paying attention and you're adjusting your music, even a bunch of those things which were even felt to be less dangerous ended up still affecting a whole bunch of people. Just switching, they found that just switching channels, you guys.
Yeah.
On the old style, even, was almost would drop your whole functioning down, way down.
Hey,
you're gonna hit somebody.
It doesn't hit me like that when I be tired and driving, and I'm like switching the stations on the highway, and I'm like, dang, I feel like I'm drifting off a little bit.
But are you right?
Yeah.
And by the way, fatigue. By the way, I don't know if you guys heard it, but the recent studies. It was on the TV about fatigue, because they're starting to go after people after work.
That's right.
They were showing that just regular fatigue from working too hard at your job with no drugs, in your system.
Just as bad.
So all you LAUSD workers out there, you already know this segment is a no-no for you, because either if you're driving 1% of alcohol, CHP is going to can your license. The marijuana is totally out. So if they get caught doing anything, that's their driver's license.
See, and what makes it even more complicated, you all, is that now that medical marijuana is recognized as a medical treatment, it's actually covered by the HIPAA rules, the Health Information Patient Protection Act. Right. So when you're licensed for marijuana, you're not even legally supposed to be asked about that. It is supposed to be 100% private. So that's where the laws are going to come head to head already. In other words, if you have that card, they're not supposed to even be able to test you.
Right.
So
if you're operating a vehicle, it's different now, because they're going to say, "Are you operating
commercial?"
Right. It's totally different.
But then again, see what I'm saying? It's not worked out. It's not worked out, because under HIPAA laws, it's a medical issue. You have a right for them not to disclose your medications.
So we as a people, we have to understand our rights, and then the officers out there and sheriffs that's driving, they should understand also,
Oh, they know. They get briefed on it.
Yeah, but they get pressured. I talked to a few, and they get pressured to make those quotas and to,
they do.
To bring in money for the city when the city is taking money already.
And it changes week to week.
Right.
It can change week to week.
And isn't it, if the old rule is, I found a way to say why I can go around the rule of what your rights are. If I suspect something else, isn't that no different than driving? I hate to say this, I'm not trying to say driving while black. Driving under suspicion of whatever terminology you use.
That's the issue. We don't want unsafe people, but the question is determining how safe. And by the way, the current administration, the Obama administration, has been absolutely no help on any of these issues whatsoever, despite the claims he made during his campaign of supporting this. It wasn't until recently that the Justice Department even showed any signs of backing off.
Be careful with Obama. You know, black folks, we get mad and talk bad about Obama.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, let me tell you something. Hey, my mama got a, I had to apologize before because my mother got a shrine, with the picture and the candles and stuff.
All day.
I said, Mom, now we had this debate over some other folks.
You can't do it. Can't do it.
You got kind of passionate. Don't talk about Obama.
Don't talk about Obama.
Hey, well, that was going to be the ongoing subject, because I can tell you that in the marijuana community, people are really upset with him because a lot of those were young folks who supported him, and they haven't been getting the traction that they wanted on those issues.
Mac Port Townsend Washington, don't have to make sure I get in here because of the chat room. He said he had a question. He said, how many people busted for pot can demand that the arresting officer be tested for pot before it goes to court?
Flip the script. Flip the script. Right.
Yeah.
I know. Let me tell you the two cases that most amazed me. One in L.A. was someone who got stopped for something else, was totally driving normally, but was stopped for something like tags, was found to have marijuana in the car. When they searched the car again, why? Who knows? Because it was for tags now. Found marijuana, and he had a car. They had to give him his marijuana back and let him go on his way. Another Hollywood guy was evicted from his apartment because he was arrested and was growing plants. You're allowed under California law, I think it's like 24 plants.
Okay.
Something like that to grow. Okay. The landlord not only had to give him back. First, the police came in, destroyed the plant. He was evicted. They had to reimburse him for every plant, reimburse him for his apartment, give him all of his stuff back.
That's funny.
Wow.
And pay him damages.
I will fall out on the floor.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So this is really clear. You do have certain rights, and one of them is cultivation.
Yeah.
Here. Now, what's interesting is I was just in Amsterdam. And you know me, I always say only dope she's gonna go.
I need to get to Amsterdam.
5 grams, but you're only allowed to have 5 grams of marijuana
very
on
minimal.
you. That's a very small amount.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Well, they make a lot of visits every day. Every day.
He said, that's all I need.
I'm not saying that I followed it, but this is reminding me somewhat of what happened with the prohibition period with alcohol. That once it was legal, they still the laws and how much consumption. Everything seems to be after it's now available, we're going to find a way to fight it and make sure that we can manage it. And you usually think it's for the betterment and the health and welfare of everybody, but it's about the money, the power that goes along with it, the implementation of a law. And really, you have a lot of attorneys who really get behind laws that benefit them, their
this
constituents.
is really benefiting.
So it's
a
always
win-win
a
situation.
trickle down. It's a trickle
win-win
down.
situations.
Yeah. So, like I said,
I think it's going to pass eventually. I mean, we got the younger generation growing up, and it's changing, man. Get the old timers out of there and get a bunch of new schoolers, and you know what I'm saying?
I've said it before.
Mario said
these changes are constant because you know what happens? No matter, even the ones who really get offended or whatever, they die.
They die off.
They eventually die. I'm sorry, and the world moves forward. That's it. So one day, like I said, even though I said you have to be careful about where you use the N-word, don't say it around your grandmother, you know, the older, for all that. One day they'll all be dead, unfortunately, and then the people who even care won't be here.
Yeah.
It's not siding on either side of the issue.
Right.
That's staying away from the issue. I'm saying every word that exists undergoes change.
Evolving.
Every word.
Well,
there's a bunch of words that we know from when we were kids that we would say, people even recognize it.
Yeah.
They don't even know. It's an insulting term. Kike, dago. People go like, what? Wop. What is that? I don't even know them words. I said, these were the words they used in the old days to insult you. Have you heard of them? No.
Right.
So
not the WAP.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These are the ones that will one day be gone too. So everybody. That's right. Remember, it's all about the MJ, not Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, but marijuana. Colorado. Washington.